Hello fellow wet shavers, Brian here with the Wet Shave Experience. Thanks for tuning in today. So today I have a shave that, quite honestly, I'm a bit nervous about. And the only reason I am is because I watched CDB's videos yesterday on this very soap, Gentleman's Nod, Zaharoff Signature Royale soap. I have the matching splash. Actually, that's the signature splash. I have the matching splash, voila. I'm gonna use the PAA Ascension DOC. And this, by the way, I did a little bit more reading yesterday, and this is 316 stainless on the handle. It's CNC machine on the handle. So it is pretty heavy, great knurling on there. And I'm going to be using, so here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use my RazoRock 400 brush. But here's what I'm going to do is this might be a longer video, so you could always skip ahead or you could just skip it, right? So the scent on this, I didn't grab the scent notes on this either. So first of all, they smell similar, but they are not the same. The original signature is definitely much spicier and I don't know if I would say darker. And the way I would kind of differentiate the two maybe is that this is more of a like date night scent maybe, and it's not limited to date night. I wore it to work yesterday, it's totally fine, so you can wear it whenever. But if you're trying to categorize them, and this has a little bit more of a citrus top, a little bit less spicy. They are kind of, they do have a similar vibe. Do you need both? I don't know, that's up to you. Maybe if you have one, you don't need the other. But I'd say they're different enough that you could have both. I'll put it that way. So this just came out in December. I got in on the second batch release. I missed the first initial rollout. So I don't know if you saw CDB's video, man, I've done that before, I think. If you've seen Chris's video, and I'll link his video in the description, yesterday, he had a very, very tough time lathering this. And if he had a tough time lathering this, then I'm a little worried. He actually even came back and did a second short lathering video with it. And he's ultimately got enough lather for the shave for him. But he said he had to use like 4 or 5 times the amount of soap that he normally uses. So, which is not a good thing. That you have to do that, especially when this soap is $29 for 4 ounces, so it's over $7 an ounce. So you don't want to have to use twice as much soap when that's the case, or 4 times as much soap. So I'm gonna try to lather on camera today. I may have to cut it, I may have to edit it out. So I'm gonna try to use the same amount of soap that I normally use. And I use my baby spoon. I don't measure it exactly. Chris was saying he uses usually maybe 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon depending on the soap. This is about how much I'm going to use. This is how much I used yesterday, roughly, for the signature that I used. So, I mean, I go by, you know, almond size, whatever that might be. It's a little bit on the back of the spoon, I'll get that as well. And since I bowl lather, I just put it in my bowl. Now I'm not gonna be able to tilt the camera and do any fancy camera work, so I'm just gonna have to talk to you for a few minutes while I'm lathering it. Come up with something to say, right? Let's see. All right, so there we have it in my bowl. I'm gonna put the lid on the soap. There's my divot. And that's roughly how much I use. Like I said, I don't measure it precisely. I just kind of eyeball it. I will say that there are some soaps like PAA, for example, where I find I need a little bit less soap in the bowl. And where did my brush go? Oh, there it is, right there, right in front of me. Okay, so what I've done is I've kind of probably done what, you know, I've done that, which I've heard you're not supposed to do, but I've been doing it and it hasn't caused me any issues, but At some point, maybe it will, I don't know. But I've wrung the brush out. Most of the water is out. So I'm gonna start with a fairly dry brush and just kind of swirl it around. And I'm hoping that my experience, now I did notice on my lather yesterday that it wasn't a super high volume lather, which I think, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in my terminology, this is not a high structure lather, which means you're not going to get a ton of volume out of the soap, which you don't necessarily need, right? I mean, yes, you want some cushion. Chris was saying he put enough soap in there so I just do this with some water in my fingers. So, and that's how I lather all the time. I don't put a lot of water in. So, and there's where we're at this point. So I'm swirling it around and I just kind of eyeball it myself. I don't measure the amount of water I put in either. I'm kind of have been learning my soaps and my soap bases that I have. And, you know, kind of have an idea of how much water I need. And I'm still experimenting with that as well. I mean, I'm still learning. So this is the wet shave experience, but it's kind of my experience as a new shaver. If you're a recent subscriber, you may or may not know that I've only been wet shaving since June of 2020. So not quite, what, 8 months? Do the math. Okay, so I'm just gonna add some more water in there. And I just dribble it in a little bit at a time, so I've got it, kind of, you may not be able to see it, but it's kind of running in the bottom. I don't like to add a bunch at one time just because I don't want it like splashing around in the bowl as I'm swirling it. So I'm just going round and round. What is it? Ken Shave 326, who I kind of miss his videos, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hopefully he comes back soon. He had a little song he had with this kid that he said he made it up about bowl lather, and now I can't remember it off the top of my head. All right, so I'm getting a little bit more lather in here. Anyways, I didn't find that the lather yesterday was super voluminous. Voluminous, is that a word? So I didn't get as much soap in the bowl from a lather standpoint as I might with some other soaps. And again, I do find with some soaps like PAA that I need a little bit less soap than other soaps to get the same amount of lather. If I use the same amount of soap, I just get more lather that I end up just throwing out, which is fine. I mean, it's you know, CK6 is 5 ounces of soap, so I mean, but why not put a little bit less in? That'll get you enough lather, make your soap last a little bit longer. So I'm just dribbling more water in. So anyways, so I found this to be a lower volume lather, but it was still really slick. I still got 3 passes out of it yesterday. So I didn't really have any qualms with the soap. So this is the Cardinal base. Whoa, I'm falling. So I did an unboxing video last night, by the way, and I downloaded it and I realized I kind of made a little boo-boo in there. I was showing the boxes, I got a shipment. DK and I swapped some scents, and when I showed the package, I had my address covered on, but I didn't have his covered up, and in fact, I even say, I hope I didn't just splash your address. I went back and I downloaded it because I didn't think I did, but I went and rewatched it. And, you know, I just want to be respectful. So I realized that his address did show, even if it was for the briefest of moments. Most people probably wouldn't have caught it. You know, I mean, he's not a public figure. So, I mean, in a sense he is, right? But anyways, it may not have been a big deal for him, but I went back. So I uploaded it. I took it back down. I edited just a second out of it, and I thought I reposted it last night right before I went to sleep, and for some reason it didn't download like I was expecting it to. So when I woke up this morning, it was still downloading, which is weird. It was like 12% downloaded. So I don't know if because my phone went into sleep mode or something. So anyways, that will be reposted. Got a couple of new things. All right, so I'm getting some soap. Again, I think I said, you know, they came out with this in December, the Royale. So there was one batch and it sold out. So I got in on the second batch. So I don't know when Chris got his, which batch his was out of. So I'm just dribbling some more water in. And so it gets a little, you know, you can see it's a little soupy in there until I can kind of, as DK would say, beat it. Or is it beat it like you hate it? Or load it like you, I think he load it like you hate it, or I don't know, something like that. Well, I don't face lather, so I don't load it, but I've heard load it like you hate it. So I feel like I'm getting, you know, I'm getting some lather in there for sure. And, you know, doing it a little bit more vigorously, and I kind of go around and I kind of slap it against the sides. And now I'm overflowing. So this is my Evan Rosenthal bowl. It's got a handle on it, which I can grasp with my thumb, which is kind of nice. So, I mean, I feel like I've got enough lather in here to do my 3 passes. So, I mean, there we go. I mean, I think it's pretty, you know, I mean, that's kind of what we got. There are some little bubbles in there. So I don't know. Little tiny bubbles. All right. Sorry about that. You do not want me to sing. When we were kids, one of my sisters got a karaoke thing to hook to the TV for Christmas. And I had 4 younger sisters, and they were singing, and so they, you know, I gave it a try, and I was not so politely asked to not do it anymore. That's how bad I was. Okay, so I mean, I think, is it the highest volume of lather I've ever lathered up? No. Is it, there's enough in here for 3 passes. So I think I'm gonna go with this. So we are 12 minutes in, far too long, so I'm gonna try to do a quick shave. So I'm gonna wet the face. So we'll see if we could cut the shave part down since we did all this lather stuff. So Chris, I don't know, you know, I mean, it's not huge volume, but I definitely have enough in here for 3 passes. I mean, we're already on the face and we still have that much left in the bowl. And I would hope that the guys at Gentleman's Nod would reach out to Chris. I'm sure they will. And try to figure out what's up with that. Because, I mean, he is the expert. Chris is CDB. So it's not terribly thick, right? So, but, I mean, but I still got plenty of lather in the bowl. And I've got lather all over my shirt. And I'm eating the soap. Okay, so there's a 3rd use Nasset blade in here. And one of the things I was reading is that the reason that the head shape is so dramatic the way it is that because this is a twist adjustable, so you're supposed to be able to adjust it within a 1/4 of a turn. So the way I read that is within a 1/4 of a turn. So, but you can see, and I don't know, you probably can't see it on camera, but if I start to loosen it, I can see the actual blade flex a little bit. So there's so much tension on the blade that that's what keeps it in place. because the angle of the head is so steep, going down this way. So there's so much pressure on there from the top cap that as you even loosen it a little bit, there's still enough tension in there, like a spring almost, to keep the blade in place even when you adjust it. So I'm gonna adjust it slightly today. It was a pretty efficient shaver. I'm gonna do just a tad more. It was a pretty efficient shaver yesterday, the way it was, and that was fully tightened. Now it wasn't as efficient as the haircut and shave company I've used, or even the Rockwell 6S on. I find the 3-plate is super, I get super smooth with that. And I'm not really feeling much more blade feel this way. It was a tiny adjustment. Definitely felt more blade there at that angle. But still pretty mild or comfortable. So when you're adjusting it, you can almost see the blade, when it's fully tightened, the blade is pretty much flush with the angle of the cap. But you can see as I loosen it, the blade just literally starts going like that, and you can see the blade gap widen. So anyways, plenty of slickness here. I kind of like, you can see the lather channels of the open comb. It's kind of cool. I mean, the razor is just gliding over my face. So I didn't have to add any additional soap or anything. All right, we're just gonna move on to pass 2. See if we can get this all done super quick. So the scent on this, now that I've kind of got past the lather thing, Chris is using a new razor yesterday, a supply company, I think 2.0, and he was so flustered with the lathering that most of his video was about the lather, which is, it's kind of interesting to see him, kind of fun to see him flustered sometimes. He was really, it was a conundrum for him that he couldn't lather it. Not, like I said, not the densest or thickest of lather, but there's enough cushion on there. And I mean, it's slick. So is the Cardinal base my favorite base? It's too early to tell. I mean, I wouldn't say. So I don't know that I could judge that at this point. Like I said, the scent on this is reminiscent of Signature. Could it also be a date night? It could, but it is a lighter scent. It does have a little bit more citrus on the top. It's not overly citrusy, but it's a little fresher maybe. I don't know where the Signature, I meant to say Royale, I think. Where the Signature is like really has a nice spiciness to it. The Royale isn't as spicy. It's a little bit fresher. It's got a little bit more citrus on the top. Not a lot. Definitely you can feel a little bit more blade feel when I get into this across the grain pass. As you can see, I'm having no problem shaving. Okay, we're gonna go for pass 3. And there's still, I mean, I've still got, oops, lost my grip on it, it's got a little slippery. We've still got soap, so I am no expert. Again, I've only been wet shaving since June. My experience is somewhat limited to the products that I've tried. I certainly have not tried as many products as Chris, nor am I as experienced as him. So whether what he would call this a good lather or not, whether you would call this a good lather or not, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that I didn't have to go back to the tub for more soap. I use the same amount as I usually do. I am shaving just fine. And it's plenty slick. All right, so let's go against the grain. We'll see if my twist adjustment leads to my face being a little bit smoother today or not. It was plenty smooth yesterday. I mean, this would be a great everyday razor. But look at the residual slickness is there. I mean, I can go back over those areas. No problem. Gotta be careful not to overshave here. So I definitely got some more blade feel. I find myself paying a little bit more attention to the razor because the blade's definitely letting me know it's there. It's not a lot. I like how this gets around my nose better than some razors. Kind of my funky hair cleanup. All right, with that, we're done. So I'm gonna rinse the face. Okay, well, I don't know. It works for me. So, like I said, Gentleman's Nod, Zaharoff, Cardinal Base, bit of a premium purchase, definitely, for sure. Not in everybody's budget. Do you need both? I like them both. I'm probably gonna keep them both. Well, I will keep them both, but if you were looking at these and deciding if you like spicier and maybe a little bit darker, you could go, I would go with the regular Signature. If you like a little bit lighter with maybe a tiny bit of citrus on the top, then you could go with the Royale. You can also see that the color of the soap is a little bit darker on the Signature than on the Royale. Not that that makes any difference, really, just a fun fact. Okay, so make sure I got the right bottle here. Yes, Royale. I always think, whenever I'm thinking of this name, I don't know if any of you are Pulp Fiction fans, but I just think of John Travolta and him talking to Samuel L. Jackson with the Royale with cheese. You know what they call a quarter pounder? A Royale with cheese. They don't have the metric system over there. They have the metric system over there. They don't know what a quarter pounder is. Anyways, all right. So, splash feels good. Little alcohol in that. Face feels fine. No extra burning or anything. So, if you got through this video, this is a little bit longer than normal. I tried to get through the shave a little bit faster. Appreciate your patience on that. I really just wanted to lather it on camera because I kind of wanted to see if I could get a lather out of it. What I got was enough for me. Whether it be enough for you, whether it was enough for Chris, obviously it wasn't. So hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you soon on the channel.